Hello there and welcome to the card grotto. This month I've had the absolute pleasure of guest designing over at craftmojo.co.uk. Today I thought I would share with you how I'm making this card. I do apologise that the video is quite bright. Usually I get them quite dark unfortunately, and this time it's a bit too bright, so I do apologise for that. But you can kind of see what I'm doing. So I've taken this W+9 stamp set. This is the Flora and Fauna 2 and I'm using the larger of the butterflies. I'm stamping it onto some Tim Holtz watercolour cardstock in distress ink. This is the antique linen. I wanted a water soluble ink, but I also wanted it fairly light. I do want to be able to kind of see through after I've done the watercolouring on top, but I didn't want it to show too much, if that makes sense. So I've taped down my watercolour piece here onto an Epicurean board, which is kind of like a heat proof board, which is originally used for cooking, but it's quite good for watercolouring as well if I wanted to use my heat tool. So I'm taking some clean water here and I'm just adding it on top of where I want my first lot of colour to be, and then I'm just going to add the colour on top, which kind of helps it kind of meld together. I'm sure you've probably seen lots of other watercolouring videos and I'm definitely not an expert, but I just thought I would show you my process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to speed up the video here and play some music, and then I'll see you at the other end. So after I'd finished my watercolouring, I wanted to go ahead and leave that to dry naturally. So I've taken my sentiment here, which I'm going to use. This is the hand lettered thanks die from W+9. I've die cut it with the same watercolour cardstock, mainly because I wanted everything to be the same texture and the same colour. So now I'm taking my Wink of Stella clear glitter pen and I'm just liberally going over the whole of the die cut using that pen, and it just gives a nice sort of subtle shimmer. Makes it a little bit special, I suppose. I'm then going to take off the watercolour panel from my board, and I'm just kind of taking off the painter's tape at an angle, but to be honest with you, this painter tape is really good. It doesn't damage the cardstock at all. And then I'm going to make a mask here with some mask paper, and I've stamped it onto this Inkadinkado stamping mask paper, and I'm going to apply it over the top, mainly because I don't want anything else that I'm going to add on top to cover the watercolour piece. So I'm going to use some splatters here, and I don't do it, like I don't think I've ever done it, to be honest with you, but I just thought I would do something slightly different today. So I'm taking the Heidi Swap Colour Shine. This is in blush, a very pretty colour, and obviously you've got that shine there as well. I've shaked it up, and then I'm using the applicator, so I've unscrewed the top and using the bottom of the applicator. I'm just dabbing on some splatters here. Like I said, I just didn't want to get it over the actual butterfly that I've already done. So then I'm taking a white card base, and I did leave the colour shine to dry, by the way. I'm deciding here whether I want to add the panel with foam tape or with you know, flat adhesive, and I've gone with the double-sided tape. So I'm using my ATG gun here and I'm applying a massive amount. You can't see how much I've applied here, but I've basically covered the whole entire panel. I just didn't want it, although it's not really warped that much, I just didn't want it to kind of fold up slightly on the card base. So I find here the easiest way for me to add a whole entire panel is to hold up the card itself, and it's just a little bit easier for me to line up, so I've done it that way. I then going to take my sentiment here that I'm adding over the top, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place it on the top to start with, just to see where I want it, and then I'm going to apply it with some glue. I just want to take a quick moment just to mention about the watercoloured butterfly. Like I said, I'm definitely not an expert here at all. I do actually like how it came out. I originally didn't like where the kind of purpley colour met the pink colour. But in the end I actually quite like it, because that's how a butterfly is. It's kind of got those sort of veiny kind of qualities to it, and like I said, I do quite like how it came out. So I'm just applying the thank you here with some Tombow Mono Multi Glue. I do find that you can add quite small tiny little dabs there, and it doesn't kind of seep out, which is really, really good. And I'm just applying the sentiment with some tweezers. I did decide in the end, after filming, to add another layer on top, just because I wanted a little bit of dimension to the card, because otherwise it was really quite flat. But I'm sorry I didn't quite film that. So that's the finished card. I want to thank Sally at Craft Mojo for having me guest design with them this month. And all the links to the products I've used are in the description bar, and also on my blog at www.cardgrotto.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.